So you said something super interesting that a lot of times we'll validate the situation, but we aren't validating feelings. Can you give us examples to differentiate what that sounds like?
Sure, yeah. So let's stick with the you got a D on the test example. So, when you say, "Hey, I noticed you got a D on the test. What happened?" And let's say they said, "Well, I was just so busy. I didn't have any time. I went from school to soccer to this to that," right? It's like if you take a minute and you think about it, you're like, "Okay, I get that. I would probably feel overwhelmed or pressure if I was in that situation." Right. So a validation where you're validating their feelings might sound something like, hey, it makes sense that you'd feel a lot of pressure or overwhelmed when your day was packed and you felt like because of that, you were just felt too overwhelmed to even take the time to study for your test. Right? Anybody in your shoes would feel that way. So we're not condoning the behavior. We're not saying like, oh, no big deal, you got a D. But what we are doing is just connecting with them in a way that like where they feel like what they're feeling you understand and that there's nothing wrong with them for feeling that way.
And can you contrast that with what it would sound like to just be validating the situation?
Validating the situation might sound something more like, hey, it's okay, you got a D. We all struggle sometime, or something to that effect, where the emphasis is on the situation and not how they feel.